Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
What's up?
I can't believe technology has finally given my start, and I
Same,
love
same.
I love your username on that note, which is called "You Don't Need to Know,"
No one
because
needs to know, yeah.
yeah, same.
I
I
have
think
officially cancelled myself, so
goals. I wanted my nickname. I mean, here it's Yas, which is also good, but then I want to be Mr. X. Because that is also that is something I aspire to be. Did you know the movie Mr. X? Did you know it had Tanmay Bhatt in it in a like guest role thing?
I did not.
In the words of Tommy Wiseau, and even this guy, what's his name, Rohan Joshi, this other na AIB person.
Yeah.
He was in वो काला चश्मा वाली movie. वो जो गाना है ना काला चश्मा. बार बार देखो. Yes, that's the movie. He's also there.
I'm not even sure what these movies are, Mr. X and Bar Bar Dekho. I mean,
Oh
my
my
disconnect
God.
with Bollywood is
Yes, I
honestly.
mean, I mean, unintentionally, it's a good introduction to what we wanted to talk about. But
I stand.
I'll just catch you up real quick. So, Mr. X came out in I think 2015. It's about do you remember we had the story in 12th in CBSE called The Invisible Man, or was it 11th? I don't know.
I think it was 11th. You're talking about the H.G. Wells novella, no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's 11th.
novella. Love that. But yeah,
कहीं तो मेरी डिग्री का वो दिखे कि मैंने लिटरेचर पढ़ा है, like
yes.
instant
Can you flex? Yes, that's true. So yeah, in the novella, so उसमें जो story है, basic जो theme है, I think that is what Mr. X is about. And Imran Hashmi is like this guy, and I think he's friends with a scientist, or he is a scientist. It doesn't matter obviously, but he basically ends up being invisible, and his name is Mr. X. And I guess like he takes on the identity of Mr. X. So yeah, that one has Tanmay Bhatt in it. And then Bar Bar Dekho has time travel in it, and that has Rohan Joshi. So like you see a pattern here, what these guys were aiming for, I guess. A niche, carving a niche.
They were trying to, just get the kind of iconic status that Mr. India has, and
That
I'm
is so
sorry,
true.
but Tanmay Bhatt is just not eligible for, I don't know,
Yeah.
Mogambo status. So
No, even Mogambo status. Come on, yeah. Mogambo was the. It's no, not everybody can. Not everybody can.
Yeah, there's only one Amrish Puri, as they say.
For sure, yeah. I said that. I'm there. I remember I went to Jama Masjid, I think 2-3 years back, and there's this area वहाँ पे जहाँ पे वही लोग ऐसे खिलाते हैं कबूतरों को दाने वाने जो भी ऐसे खूब सारे दाने वहाँ पे पड़े रहते हैं. So and I was wearing like a scarf sort of a thing that day, so I draped it in that Amrish Puri fashion, like a like his shawl. And I recreated that आओ वाला scene from DDLJ जब वो खेत में ऐसे कर रहे होते हैं and they're talking about देश की मिट्टी and all that. I think DDLJ would be a big hit if it came out now. I mean, it was even then, but like it had a lot of those sort of themes which are quite popular today, I feel.
Yeah, even Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum for that matter.
True. अरे that Anupam Kher dialogue की जिसने गंगा नदी का I don't know something किया, उसे सेन नदी से फिर क्या लेना देना, या फिर थेम्स नदी से क्या लेना देना.
Okay, Anupam.
Yeah. Oh right, they live in London, no? Shahrukh and Anupam Kher. So yeah, that's what he says. I mean, I can think of many Lena Denas. Ganga is just, yeah. Did you know abhi recently this BJP guy, I think, although I'm pretty sure, said a couple of weeks back कि गंगा का हमें जो कोई गंगा जल होता है उसका हमें इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए कोरोना को मिटाने के लिए, like as a, I don't know, like a vaccine. Should we all drink it? He was not clear about that, but मतलब टाइफाइड तो हो ही जाएगा सबसे पहले, so I don't know about corona though.
Just lay off Ganga. That's my advice to all Hindus at this point. Just stay away from her. बेचारी ने बहुत सहा है, and
Ganga sounds like
हिंदुओं के पाप धोते धोते बेचारी थक चुकी है.
oh my god.
Yeah, like I am team retire Ganga and retire Yamuna also for that matter. Because
Ganga and Yamuna sound like, our friends, like women who have been in these very toxic, literally toxic relationships, and now we're extremely protective of them, as we should be. As we should be.
I get very, like, I know ki there's a lot of controversy around that also, ki why is so much attention given to Ganga, and obviously, like, I am for all river redevelopment, like redevelopment in the sense ki, cleaning them up and not actual capitalist and neoliberal development, but just Ganga and Yamuna, I've heard so much shit about them in the sense ever since like second grade or whatever, you're told river pollution, this, that, but and now we are in 2020, I am 23 years old. There has been no change whatsoever except the change of decline, and it's very frustrating to just keep on hearing the same thing again and again. The things that you were reading in second grade EVS is now what you're reading in preparation for PTSD. So
what we read in college EVS, not to forget.
I have forgotten that.
You should not. No.
I did not study EVS in college at all. Like, I just gave my presentation and I somehow gave the exam.
I mean, nothing to add there, of course. But anyway, so speaking of things which were once good but now are very toxic and deserve better, let's talk about our topic for today. And I don't know what we're going to do with this, like what we're recording exactly. Like, we're doing it for fun. But if something interesting comes of this and I want to send it to a friend, I just want to quickly say we are two people. And as you don't need to know you don't need to know anything beyond that. And we're just going to talk today about, would you like to say the title? You don't need to know?
I would like to say the title.
Yes.
It's something that I randomly came up with, and after the appreciation I got from you, yes. I am proud of it. It's called The Existential Crisis of Being Bolly Trash in the Age of Priyanka Chopra.
Applause.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I think we should start off with what being bolly trash means to us. And,
I mean,
just a little 2 minute we can talk about it. This is what happened, and this is why I am facing an existential crisis at this point in life, directly related to Bollywood. While Bollywood itself is facing an existential crisis, as it should. So,
true. Would you like to go on first?
Yeah,
because
sure.
This is something that I'm really now. I'm very. Wow, I'm kind of shook by this. What it even means to be bolly trash. So I would rather you start. And I feel like, I don't know, I'm comfortable talking in both Hindi and English, and I will impose my Hindi heart and agenda here, I suppose. So
you're not the first one to do that.
You should be used to it at this point. So I mean, what can one do? Yeah.
So, well, I would like to start off my journey as bolly trash around the time I was born. And 1997, that year will always remain one of my most hated years. And anyway, but so I grew up in a family that was really into movies. And both my parents were working, they were doctors. So they didn't get that much time to, actually go to the theater, and also they hadn't really grown up in a very theater going culture. Like, my dad lived in a village, so no access, and my mother, her family couldn't really afford it, so there was that. But then TV happened, and that really opened all doors for my parents, and also when they went to college, so going to cinema was one reprieve from the hell that is a medical college in India.
Yeah.
And
In
they
UP.
were both
In UP, that must be added. And
Yes,
it's okay
yes.
for me to say because a lot of my family is from UP, so
It's okay for
Yes.
anyone to say in India.
that is also true.
Yeah. So you know, they were avid TV watchers in that sense. You know,
Right.
because you know, when they started working and when I was very young, their careers were just sort of taking off. So they didn't have much time, and TV was something, you know, that was heavily encouraged sort of in our house. I mean, we had our restrictions, like the kids, we couldn't watch past a certain time and parental
Yeah.
supervision and all. But with our parents, everything was okay. Like if a parent is in the room. So, and then the other thing is that my parents were huge Sridevi fans. And they were also huge Sholay fans. And I mean, my dad was. My
Yes.
mom is not that big Sholay fan. But I must have seen Mr. India more times than I can count. Like, there was sort of an unspoken rule in our house that if that movie is coming on TV, then it has to be watched. And
This
yeah.
this is sorry to interrupt, but this is such a golden memory of childhood. I mean, at that point, TV had such importance. You know, if a
Yeah.
movie is coming, you have to watch it because then you don't know fir kab aayegi TV par. Star Gold and all, it was amazing.
Cinema, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think Mr. India used to come on Z Cinema a lot, so if I'm not wrong. But yeah, so you know, this movie culture was always there in my house. And and you know, my father, he loves telling stories of how the first movie he went to see in the theater was Sholay. And you know how he went 7 or 8 times more because he could not get over the feeling of going to theater. And you know, yeah, and also like the first movie that he saw was Sholay. I mean, iconic. And I've never seen it in a theater, but I've never seen it actually. But I knew that reaction would be forthcoming.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's you know, I procrastinated watching Andaz Apna Apna for a good 15 years or something because my father has basically told us everything there is to know.
Hyped it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and you know my reservations regarding recommendations. So there's that.
True.
And apart from that, cinema is
what is
a great
your
bonding.
own? I mean, I get.
My own journey is
Yes.
My own journey, I think, starts with the dual forces of Rani Mukherjee and Shah Rukh Khan. And legends, honestly. Kuch Hota Hai was probably the first movie that I remember watching. I don't know if I saw any other movie before that. I was probably too young. But
Right.
Kuch Hota Hai is like, that memory is still very vivid in my brain. You know, when Rani Mukherjee dies at the beginning of the movie, that left an impact
I like how that's the part. That's the part that's vivid. For me, when I hear the words Kuch Hota Hai and vivid, I think of Kajol's neon outfit because you can't get more vivid than that.
I have a severe aversion to neon, and I was Team Tina, so Anjali can suck it for me. Both Anjalis, actually. I did not like the kid.
Oh God, she was worse, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. So you know, I had a huge crush on Shah Rukh and Rani, and
Yes.
more than movies, it was the music videos from their movies that got me into this fandom. Not just like one fandom, but also their individual fandoms. I mean, I know all the lyrics to Apun Bola, even though I watched that movie just very recently. I've known that song for all my life, and I just watched that movie. So you know, and Rani Mukherjee also, I've never seen Gulam, but I listened to Atika Khandala. I watched that video almost every month. It's like, you know, just like this is gonna happen. Yeah, and then the most important part of my Bolly trashness, like the one thing that you know, that I can say with confidence, ki, okay, this is when I knew that I was in it for good, is me seeing the Chaya Chaya music video. That video is a revelation. I mean, I cannot hear any criticism about it.
Yeah.
Oh, how can they do it on a train? And what were they thinking? Mani Ratnam is so dramatic. No, that video is everything that is good with Bollywood. Exactly, haters. And that is one. And it's gonna be a little soul-bearing time for me now. And
wow.
But
already,
Chaya Chaya is probably my most favorite song of all time.
Whoa, that is a big moment here.
Yeah, I mean,
for us to learn that.
My happiest favorite song of all time. You know, just that feeling. I listen to it every time that I'm happy. Yeah.
Aww.
And I see that video every week, I think.
Right.
And why, you know, and I still haven't seen that movie. I have not seen Dil Se Dil yet. But Chaya Chaya is so important. And that is why I think we should also discuss Bollywood music when we
will
proceed with this podcast. So yeah, so these are, you know, like little. And then apart from my family, all my friends were also Bolly trash. You know, be it the people I carpooled with, the college friends, the school friends. Somehow I only made friends with people who were into Bollywood, and there are exceptions, of course, but you know, those intense friendships were with Bolly trash people. Like me and this friend that I used to carpool with, we had a list of movies that we loved, and we used to add like, we just had this notebook that we'd pass on to each other.
That's adorable.
Huh?
That's adorable.
Well, yeah, so you know, Bollywood has always been a big part of my life. And
yeah. I'd say it's the same for me. My parents were huge Bolly trash people. I remember my father bought a cassette. आती थी एक double cassette का set आता था, जिसमें शोले के सारे dialogues थे, like the entire script of the movie, basically the entire audio of the movie. Yeah, and at that point when I was younger, we used to travel in cars a lot. So they used to play it all the time in road trips. You know, people have road trip playlists. We had the entire script of Sholay. and anyway, so that is just an example of how the situation was. And my nanny, my mother, these people are intense fans of Bollywood and gossip in Bollywood. So they keep randomly telling me just nothing. We're just sitting. My mom is, वो beans काट रही हैं, गाजर छील रही हैं. She'll be like, अरे पता है ऋषि कपूर के साथ ये हुआ. And I'd be like, oh, अच्छा ऋषि कपूर के साथ ये हुआ. And I'd tell my friends, and they'd be, oh, do you know this? And yeah, so I feel apart from the whole experience of movie watching and film appreciation and all of that, Bollywood is also something which I think for people, for the average person, it's also a huge source of gossip, and Definitely. Both of us love gossip here at Unnamed Podcast. Both me and You Don't Need to Know love gossip. So I feel in India we do have these things we love talking about, from a gossipy point of view, like politics. We talk about political figures. Cricketers also, I think, up to a point, we do talk about their personal lives or whatever it is. But I think it's the most intense when it comes to film stars. So Bollywood is also, and all of my friends who I remember from school who loved Bollywood, they were also people who loved gossip and doing all this sort of talk. So it was a great combination of that.
And now that I think about it,
and
we were all united in these two frontiers.
Realms. And for me, like I even remember for a year my family lived abroad when I was around 10 or 11 years old. And I remember that was the time when YouTube had just become a thing and all that, and I found movies to watch online, and when we didn't have a TV there, so I just had like YouTube, a laptop where I just would go on YouTube, and I just found all these movies, and they were my sustenance. That's all I used to do. I'd come home from school, we didn't have TV, so I would just watch Dhamal for the 5th time, Chak De India for the 20th time. Chak De India I've seen more than 30 times for sure. And I mean, it's just incredible to watch every single time. That's not a perfect movie, but who is among us, and that was enough for me. And yeah, it's just Bollywood gives a lot of comfort in the best of times, and it's giving whatever it is giving right now, which are the worst of times. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. But yeah, every little detail about Bollywood, I've watched so many celebrity interviews, read so many of them about, not just actors but also directors, producers, this, that. So I am just very fascinated in the entire process that is Bollywood.
Yeah, same. At watching a lot of interviews and reading them, and at this point, I am going to start reading books on Bollywood. So
An intellectual.
Yeah. That's the only intellect that I'm capable of. And
Come
my
on,
family is very rightly weirded out by my lifelong obsession with Bollywood, even though they started me off this path.
Yeah, same. I mean, yeah, I don't need the judgment from you least of all.
Yeah, I mean, they think that just because I'm a literature enthusiast, I can't be into Bollywood, but
Not
Bollywood,
at all.
Yeah. Like, even the literature I read is not very...
Yeah, I do know.
So it's yeah, like just the whole machine of Bollywood. It's very...
Yeah, very fascinating.
It's very all-consuming. Yeah, it is.
Right.
And now to see it breaking down, as all machines must inevitably break down, it is...
Yeah.
It is fascinating in itself. I mean, I'm trying to watch more movies that came out recently. I'm going to watch this movie called Jawani Janeman. I think it's either Jawan...
Yes.
Yeah, and it stars
Jawani
Khan. Jawani Janeman.
Song Jawani Janeman. I danced to it on my annual day in like LKG. I don't know why we were dancing to that in LKG. That's questionable, but it's a bop. It's a bop. It's a really good song.
Haseen Dilruba. Yeah.
Exactly.
It has a Haseen Dilruba in it, Tabu. So.
Oh, I thought it off. Parveen Bhavi, but go off, I guess.
No, I was talking about the movie Jawani Janeman.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tabu has intensified my Bollywood craze.
Yeah,
Shahrukh Rani, she's the only actor that I have had such a, craze about. And
right.
Yeah, I would watch all of her movies. I'm just saying this for the record.
You are.
Yeah.
You are doing that these days. That's what you've been doing this entire lockdown. And honestly, yeah, I mean, no, nothing to object there. I mean, Tabu is somebody I can totally see why you do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tabu is so Jawani Janeman, I'm not just watching it for Tabu though. I am also interested in it. It kind of has a very Hollywoodish plot, and I can't see that happening in India, honestly, like what the plot is about. So it's about this man who is middle-aged, played by Saif Ali Khan.
Yeah.
And one day he just discovers that he has a daughter who is about, I think she's in her teenage, or she's 18 or 19, somewhere. 18 or 19 is also teenage though. So he discovers that, and he had no inkling that this girl exists. And he questions the mother, who is played by Adia Tabu.
Right.
And he asks him, and in this one scene that I saw in the trailer, he asks her, "Bataya kyun nahi mujhe? Call hi kar deti." And she just looks at him and she goes, "I hate phone calls." And first of all, I know. First of all, nice ass.
Yeah.
Second of all, I cannot see that happening in India, at least with the boomers that I know. I don't know if there are, carefree bohemian boomers living alongside,
show me them.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna watch this movie to figure out if it's just a copy of Hollywood aesthetics, or if it actually has some Indian thing in it.
Right. This does sound like the plot of an American sitcom, or even an episode of 2.5 Men or something like that. I wonder how it will play out in an Indian context. But yeah, I mean, same. Even I have seen some Hindu movies of late. I've seen Andhadhun this year. I've seen Bhoots, the Haunted Ship this year with You Don't Need to Know. And
That
I mean,
was actually
yeah,
a movie from this year, so yeah.
it was. It's quite a revelation because now we're coming to the main the topic at hand, which is that in the past, I think, I don't know, I want to say 5 to 6 years, maybe even a little bit longer than that, I have just stopped, actively consuming and seeking out Bollywood, which is very
Same.
uncharacteristic of how I was for the rest of my life up till that point. And when you were talking, I was thinking about something that in 2011, 100 years of, when you were talking about the machinery thing, how like all machineries it must break, I realized that in 2011, 100 years of Hindi cinema were completed. And I think that is where, like, after a machine has been running for that long, I can probably draw a line that maybe 2011, I think after that things have gotten a bit because I do remember following Bollywood quite intensely up till that point. I remember even 100 years, yes, that is where it went down. Like Korean cinema, 100th year mein they won the Oscar for Parasite. Like that's what Bong Joon-ho said, ki, oh, I didn't realize that I'm making this movie in the 100th year of the beginning of Korean cinema, but it is kind of like my gift to it and my like tribute to it. And then I started thinking, oh wait, we are older than 100 years. And and I remember even in so I'll just start talking about one aspect of it. I think I was in 7th or 8th grade in 2011, and we used to have this winter carnival thing in our school. And at one point, people would play this DJ would play songs, and people could dance to it and all of that. And I remember that year was the best in terms of the music, because just the songs that year were so good. Like there was the Love Aajkal soundtrack, and there were various other movies. It was so fun, and all of us agreed that was the best year, in terms of music, for that DJ thing to happen. But in general, now that I think about it, that year up till that point, music in movies was such a vibrant thing. And Bollywood obviously takes its music very seriously, or at least it used to, in the sense that music is a very important part of Hindi movies. And a lot of people in the West, and even otherwise, they characterize Bollywood as musicals, but we're not musicals. Musicals are a little bit different. And there the music is a definite part of the stories. The characters are singing it, whereas we use songs often as like background music for a montage or something like that,
to drive the narrative forward. Also, you can't express a lot of things in dialogues, but when two characters are playing it out in songs, and often there are also dream sequences. Like one character just goes off in thoughts, and they start imagining like, oh, I'm dancing with her, and what would happen if I tell her all these things. So Bollywood has been very versatile with its musical sequences, I would say.
And I'm not saying at all that movies after that have had just bad music or anything like that, because that's not true. Like off the top of my head, I can think of Plutera, that had an amazing soundtrack. Queen, that had such a good soundtrack by Amit Trivedi. And there are
Fitoor
films for
recently.
sure. Which movie?
Fitoor.
Yeah, Fitoor also had a great. Again, Amit Trivedi is. Firstly, let's acknowledge Amit Trivedi. What a gem of a person, gem of a musician. I don't know what he's like, but yeah, gem of a musician. So of course there are things like that. But what I mean to say is, just say पहले के time में, मतलब वही 2011-12 से पहले के time पे, even there were really good songs out of really shitty movies also. Like even shitty movies had really good soundtracks. Like for example, I remember this movie called, what was that, Love Actually का remake, जिसमें से 15 लोग थे. Salame. Yeah. I mean, that's the best definition of Salame. So even like that was a shit movie, right? I have not even seen it, but I just know it's a shit movie. It had like blonde Salman or something like that, and even Yuvraj.
Why would you remind me of that?
I think I'm mistaking it for Yuvraj. Yuvraj also had blonde Salman Khan. But the point is, both of these movies were quite shit, but they had beautiful songs, and like songs actually relevant to their story, and songs which were actually really nice. Like युवराज में वो था आजा मैं हवाओं में बिठा के ले चलूं, same. And even Shano is an icon. I mean, come on. And even with Salame Ishq, right? उसके तो ऐसे बहुत अच्छे
कुछ अनकही सी. It's my favorite.
Come on. Adnan Sami, I miss the days when you were a huge thing. Oh my god, is that a fun? I did not intend for it. Oh no.
Can't believe you just made a fat joke.
Yeah, that's it. No, is it? Oh god, I'm sorry. I did not. Anyway, what I mean is,
I know what you mean. I really miss the lift karade days.
So much. I remember I got this school ke usme when I was very very chotu. I got this cassette as like a, I don't know, some competition में some prize, and it was like wrapped. And then when I reached home, I opened it and it had Adnan Sami in this purple shirt in the cover, and I was so happy that yes, Adnan Sami cassette.
Aww.
What more do I need? Yeah, it was so good.
Oh, we had a lot of Jagjit Singh cassettes. Now I remember.
Oh yes.
No wonder, just I'm such an emo today, because that's what my father used to play every morning. And just waking
so
up.
I feel
कोई ये कैसे बताए is.
Oh god. Oh god. But yeah, so music I feel is definitely something which has deteriorated in quality perceptibly. Like for example, remixes. You look now, most of Bollywood is just remixes, and they're not even good remixes like we used to have of say Kya Surat hai, Chhod Do Aanchal, those indie pop. Iconic, those sort of things. We don't even have good remixes, so then it's just like a lack of creativity and a lack of originality as well. So
exactly. I still haven't heard the Masakali remix, because the moment it came out, because Laya and Pranjal, they both texted me ki what is happening, and they both had their own stories to tell. Oh, this used to happen to me, that used to happen to me, and I'm just like, I'm never gonna listen to this song. Like, I was not particularly a big fan of Masakali per se, but whatever fondness. But I do love that album.
Much.
Yeah. So I don't want to ruin my good memories of A.R. Rahman by listening to this, whatever it is.
See, even Delhi 6 came before 2012.
Oh yeah.
I'm on to something here. 2011, I mean.
I think this should be a full-fledged essay.
Yeah, I will get on to it. But yes, so we've discussed what being... we've discussed what being Bolly trash means and why it's in shambles right now. And yes, soundtrack is a big part of it, but what else?
So for me, another thing is the decline in good quality masala movies. I would like to postulate that the last good masala movie that we had was in 2007, a little known gem known as Om Shanti Om. And
oh my god.
After that,
yes.
And this is not like my original thought, by the way, I must clarify. This was someone else's. But yeah, I don't think we've had a good watchable masala movie. Something that people can sit together and watch, and just full of good music and great fashion, and just enjoy, just forget your life.
I feel like they have tried, and the most glaring example is the Rohit Shettification of Bollywood. Like I think Chennai Express and even Simba and all, they are supposed to be the masala movies of now. Even a lot of Salman movies, but wait, they just do not come close anywhere to gems like Om Shanti Om, which had theatrics, they had drama, they had comedy, they had amazing soundtracks. You have nothing. And just because you have dramaticism and action scenes, that does not make you a good masala movie. I don't make the rules to it, Shetty. That's just what it is.
And the thing with masala movies is that it's often, these movies are seen as brainless, or just kuch bhi kar do type wali. it's not true. You know, there has to be a method behind the madness. There has to
Yes.
be something going on that, you know, pulls you in. Like Mr. India is a complete masala movie, and I'm sorry I keep on going back to the same movie, but
No.
since I haven't seen Sholay, so I can't really talk about it. But Mr. India is a complete masala movie. It's 3 hours long. It's full of great songs, and you know, just
Do you think
whole
maybe?
storyline.
Do you think maybe it has got to do with the length thing? Maybe that's why we don't have good masala movies anymore, because people don't watch 3-hour movies anymore. But people saw Bahubali. I don't know how long Bahubali was actually.
Bahubali is not 3 hours long.
Okay.
I have seen very good 3 hours long movies, but they're Tollywood movies. But you know, and they were very successful also.
Like they were
both
recent
of them
movies?
came out in they came out in 2018, both of them. And I am someone who gets very fidgety while watching long movies, even.
Yeah.
But you know, when you watch these engaging movies, you realize why they have to be this length. So it's not just the audience's fault, it's also, I think, laziness on the part of the filmmakers. They just like, oh, these people don't have attention spans anymore, so they can't watch a 3-hour movie. But you are not giving us a product that will keep us engaged for 3 hours.
True. I agree with that. I mean, because if you think of attention spans and, you know, all that, like all these Avengers movies, and I know they're not very long individually, but it's like a very long saga, right? Which goes on for several movies. And I know people do have marathons where they do that. And even like right now, a lot of people say that the attention spans of audiences have decreased. And I guess that is true, because in general, that has decreased the age of, you know, Vine and TikTok and whatever. But I feel that, you know, people still do these things, that they binge watch TV shows for like 4 hours or, you know, through the night. So yeah, that doesn't hold up completely. That this is why, you know, masala movies aren't really being made anymore, or good ones at least.
And masala movies have sort of been replaced, at least in Bollywood, by jingoistic movies.
True. And weirdly, you know, also these social justice sort of movies, which some are good, but you know, a lot of them, they try really, really hard to be something. They end up just being preachy and boring.
Yeah, that is my biggest problem. I mean, I'm not saying that cinema is all about entertainment. I do want to, you know, sit up and think once in a while. But if you're just telling me that, you know, oh, this is what's wrong with the world and and all of that, I'm just here for a good time at the end of the day. Even if I watch something as traumatizing as Sadma, which I love, but you know, I watch it, it's very traumatizing. There is no entertainment in it, at least, you know, after the ending. There's entertainment before that, but the ending is very, I mean, I'm still not over it. And so, but you know, that is a different thing. I don't feel like I personally have something to do with it. But with these preaching movies, it's like, you know what Sarah Z talks about in her YouTube video, that they just keep on throwing all this information at you and all these, you know, guilt trips at you without actually telling you what needs to change. And with these movies, I'm not saying that they have the onus of providing a solution, but even a good cathartic moment would be appreciated.
True.
So,
and you know,
they try to be both realistic and you know, conforming to cinematic norms at the same time. Sis, don't try to do everything at once.
I guess they don't really, I don't know, they probably seem like they aren't very well thought out, you know. We don't have, I think, script writers of that caliber in Bollywood yet, who can do that, who can make entertaining movies which are also, you know, who touch upon these issues in a sensitive manner. बस है ही नहीं लोग, मुझे लगता है, जैसे थोड़े बहुत गिने चुने लोग हैं, ऐसे, you know, जैसे पीकू थी, विकी डोनर थी, ये सब चीजें थी. They're all written by this woman called Juhi Chaturvedi, and she wrote Gulabo Sitabo also abhi, and you know, और भी ऐसे वही handful of people are there. But in general, you know, I saw this interview where Karan Johar was saying ki, you know, a lot of these flights that I, you know, take when I'm traveling or doing whatever, so I always carry, you know, loads of scripts with me so that I can read them in the flight and all that. But he said ki it happens very, very rarely that I get to see something actually good. Most of them are so bad. And pehle I thought, okay, I mean, that's your opinion, Karan Johar. I don't really trust your taste exactly. But then, you know, this quote was said to Varun Grover in an interview, और उसने बोला कि सही बोल रहे हैं वो, कि मैंने भी देखी, because he's also a script writer, you know. When he said कि I've read these scripts and 80-90% of them he's read his friends की scripts or like budding script writers, so he said a lot of them are very very bad. So I think scripts are a problem, and that is also reflected in the fact कि masala movies का we talked about these jingoistic movies ka trend, and then also there's the thing about comedy movies. Bollywood is not producing good comedy movies at all. The only good ones I can think of are बहुत मतलब पहले की, अभी से पहले की, and like even the comedy bits in movies aren't nice. Like मैं हूँ ना, that was not a comedy movie as such. It was also a masala movie, but the comedy bits in it were so genuinely funny and so entertaining. But right now we don't even have that.
Yeah. Even something as melodramatic as Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna had moments that made me laugh.
Yeah.
So
which says something. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's a very emotionally charged movie, and yet there were these comic breaks, and they were just like a lot of it was also very overdrawn and whatever. Like I said, it has received too much of Kejo's treatment, and I do not stand. But no, but I get what your point is, that comedy doesn't exist in Bollywood anymore, as far as I can see, because I have not been following Bollywood for some time, so maybe my opinion is wrong, but they're just trying to copy something, and I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if they're trying to copy Hollywood aesthetics, or they're thinking, because urban kids, they watch a lot of Hollywood movies, so we should cater to that.
Oh, maybe
something very weird is going on in this,
as an urban kid. No, please don't do that, Bollywood, if that is what you're thinking.
Yeah, because like I saw the plot of this one, Jawani Jane Man, and it just struck me that this is a very Hollywood plot. This
true.
Yeah,
true.
Maybe it happened in India once or whatever, but it's not something that I can connect to.
Yeah,
I
get
my dad's age. Just being okay. So I had a daughter once upon a time. I can't say that.
Even Akshay Kumar uncle. I mean, the way you described me to him. Your father has a friend, by the way, who really resembles Akshay Kumar in vibes, and like even their
looks,
likeness also, right? But even him, I can't imagine from the stories you've told me about this person doing this sort of a stunt, and he's the only one I could probably imagine doing this. So तो मतलब ये हालत है. And now coming to the final this thing of our moral dilemma, being a body trash in the age of Priyanka Chopra.
I think you should start with your whole thesis that she didn't really have a brand till she went to Hollywood.
This is my thesis. This is the hill I chose to die on, and I'm just gonna. So what I remember about Priyanka Chopra is कि ठीक है, she was in these movies which were हाँ मतलब ठीक है, लोग पसंद करते थे, मुझसे शादी करोगी, जो भी है, that sort of stuff, and like she used to play this sort of character only कि oh pretty girl who people are wooing, that sort of a character, and she didn't really have like much of a presence, I'd say. I'm not saying she didn't have fans or anything, but I'm saying she didn't have a particular brand, like even Katrina Kaif has a brand. Oh, she's the hot white person, or like whatever, white person in the sense ki oh sometimes she's an NRI ki beti or something, otherwise she's just white in color, like that was her thing. And Priyanka Chopra didn't really have that. Even as an actor, she wasn't really considered anybody very iconic or very different or very unique. And then फिर 2000 I think 7 या 8 में आई fashion के बाद लड़की की life बदल गई, and Kangana Ranaut, I think कि they were really recognized, and then they were taken seriously as actors, and I think उसके बाद भी Priyanka Chopra has not had a lot of successful films. Again, I don't want to offend Priyanka Chopra fans listening to this, but I don't think they will. But like if you think of successful Priyanka movies post fashion, there's Barfi, which I genuinely quite liked, and she did a great job in Barfi for sure. But again, मतलब मुझे उतनी कुछ याद नहीं आती, or like this, I don't know, fucking Krish 3 or something like that. But again, like it is technically a successful film, but what did Priyanka Chopra do in it? So it's just it strikes me as very weird that this person who was not really considered like Irfan Khan, at the time when he went to Hollywood, he was really recognized in Bollywood, or even Anupam Kher, or any of these people who tried their hand. Yeah, Anil Kapoor also, matlab, I guess he's also a complicated figure, I guess. You can't deny कि he also got a second life after appearing in Slumdog Millionaire. तब तक
Definitely,
मतलब,
definitely.
but
Yeah,
he was a thing in the 80s and so on, but then it kind of like dwindled after that. तो प्रियंका का भी मुझे यही लगता है कि बीच में like वही she became a big thing in Bollywood for a while, and then I don't know why, like I mean she's a great like PR person, and like she's clearly very smart, she knew when is the correct time to make a jump, and she could do that, and she landed her own show and everything, so she's a great strategist and everything. But why, like, it's just, I think, Priyanka Chopra out of nowhere blowing up in this manner and, just becoming a thing, just, I don't know, America, and I guess by extension, everywhere. It's just indicative of, what is happening in Bollywood, that very, just things which don't really have a pattern to them, they are just blowing up, and you are confused ki, acha ye kyun bada, why is this a big thing? And you really can't come up with any satisfactory answers, so you're just supposed to deal with it ki, oh, I guess, yeah, this is the thing now, like, Tiger Shroff, like, you're like, oh, I guess this is a thing now, this is a big thing now, or फिर देखो आप उसकी movies, but there's no rhyme or reason to it, and that is, in my opinion, what, the whole Priyanka Chopraization of Bollywood.
Yeah, and I would also like to connect it to my I don't want to call it a hypothesis because it's just a random thought in my head. So my random thought that Hindi cinema has an inferiority complex when it comes to Hollywood.
Oh, for sure.
So when I was watching a lot of Tabu interviews, they kept on asking her, and at this point she had done The Namesake and The Life of Pi. So they kept on asking her, so are you gonna leave India? Are you gonna settle in the USA? And she just kept on saying, no, India is my home, and I don't want to leave. And I think it also has a lot to do with Nagarjuna.
Okay, it's true probably. Yeah.
So like I just had to say it. I would be failing in my duty as the only shipper if I didn't.
In the Nagarjuna Tabu fandom. Do you have a ship name for them?
What would it be? Nabs? Tabs?
Tabuna? I don't know.
Nagarjuna?
You think of one and reveal it to the world.
But yeah, like I will try to be serious now. So these people kept on asking her, so are your Hindi film aspirations over? And she's like, I have not just acted in Bollywood, I've acted in almost all movie industries of the country. So so she was being very light about it. She wasn't like taking offense or anything, but that says a lot, right?
But this
like,
really sounds like a very insecure person asking their significant other ki, oh, anytime anything good happens in their life ki, oh, are you gonna leave me now, ha ha ha, and like, why are you saying that?
And even with Irfan Khan, this happened when he started doing Hollywood movies. So he is not gonna come back to Bollywood, even though he never said so, and he kept on doing Hindi movies. It's not like he stopped, but just media ultimately assumed, and I don't know if Bollywood had a hand to play in it. They kept on saying ki, oh, Irfan to ho gaya Bollywood ka, and I mean, and I think they also thought like this because of Priyanka Chopra, because she hasn't really done Indian movies after getting settled. Yeah, like I don't know, when Mary Com, like, let's not even talk about Mary Com. Like that is the reason why I hate that woman so.
She's done Baji. Wait, was she in Baji? I don't know. Oh, she had a song in Baji. She's done Bajirao Mastani. She had a song in Ram Leela. Yes. But why, like, but why not, like, that is what I mean. She's done few films. I think that's something we can agree on. But why, it's again, like, I feel that Priyanka Chopra has never had a brand, like even Kareena has a brand. She'll do a particular sort of roles. She's known for those. Katrina definitely does, and like Kangana is now also having a brand. Alia Bhatt has a brand for sure.
Kajol had a brand.
Kajol had a brand.
Dani had a brand.
Yeah.
Rani's brand actually sort of, you know, gave her that career में जो उसका slump आया था, because she was seen as a Yash Raj girl, and then you know she had affair with this one Aditya Chopra also, so I guess, but yeah, like, you know, her brand kind of ended things for her, but she bounced back. She's back now. She's had successful movies, so never say never. And also but I agree with you about the whole Priyanka thesis.
तो like कहाँ से हुआ उसका मतलब कि वो, you know, पता नहीं मतलब she blew up in a really big way, and I guess like that sums up the whole current state of Bollywood thing. It's just difficult to be a Bollywood trash person, I think, right now more than anything, because like you don't see what's happening. You know, people or even movies for that matter, they become huge just like Priyanka Chopra, but there's no real reason for it. Like, sure, you could maybe say ki, you know, you could maybe come up with theories, and you know, I invite everybody to do that for sure, go for it, but it is like this weird feeling that okay, something's not quite right at the moment. And again, I don't want to say that, you know, the golden age of Bollywood is over, although it probably is if we're being honest, but वही मतलब जिस तरह का बॉलीवुड हमें जिसने हमें पहली बार अट्रैक्ट किया, you know, वही with films which were so entertaining more than anything, even films about, you know, social justice, like we had Swades, or you know, even jingoistic films, we had Lagan and everything, even Veer Zara, you know, actually Veer Zara is kind of like a I don't know it is very anti-national. How
I was watching the Aisa Desh Hai Mera video, and I remember like I saw Preeti Zinta's character then sings Jaisa Desh hai tera waisa desh hai mera, so Veer Zara was sedition
like, I know she's Pakistani, but usko fir bhi sedition charge karo, but yeah, you know, I mean, I definitely feel something as, you know, I think this cocktail of just being very random things being classified as good, even though they, you know, it feels like they're not, and you know, like these things which we, I think, called quintessential Bollywood, like entertaining movies, you know, good soundtracks, they became very rare, and now they're very sporadic. You know, I think that is the problem right now, and it's in a bit of an identity crisis, I feel, with, you know, the rise of regional cinema, the rise of international parallel cinema. Like, you know, you don't have just the West to compete with anymore. Now there are Korean movies, there's Turkish content, there's this, that. People have so much more to go to. You know, we have so many options. So now Bollywood needs to reinvent itself, but it's quite confused as to how to go about it. You know, should it ape everything, or should it just, you know, it's very confused is what I can see, and so am I as a body trash person.
Same. Another thing, like one final thing that I would like to add to this discussion is the end of superstar culture. And
I miss it.
Yeah, like there are no I mean, the last superstar, and I've talked about this with our in-house Bollywood expert also, Prasha. So she also agrees that the last two superstars are probably Shah Rukh Khan and Sridevi. There has been no one to compete with them on their level since then. And Sridevi is of course underrated because she's a woman, and no one talks about the fact that she basically conquered the entire India because she was popular in the South.
ये तो शाहरुख ने भी नहीं किया.
हाँ, Shahrukh is, I mean,
throwback to Ravan scene of noodles and dahi.
Oh my god. But yeah, so but still, like the last superstar one could argue is him, and there has been no one since then. I mean, Salman is still bhai, but his fans are very isolated from everything else. So,
and he's not, I mean, no offense, but he's not done, actually yes offense, he's not done much to contribute to cinema. You know, like Shah Rukh internationalized it a bit more, I would say, did something, you know, like he had this whatever. But Salman, like one of the most memorable things he's done is ended Arijit Singh's career. And I mean, in a way, I am thankful for that, but you know, like Arijit Singh, at one point he was singing all the songs in every single movie, connecting to the point about how, you know, soundtracks have just become very unimaginative in Bollywood. But the way he did it was not great. So actually, I take my thanks back, Salman. And yeah, why are you doing anything that you're doing?
All the careers that he's ended, I have such mixed feelings about. Like he ended Vivek Oberoi's career, and
True.
I don't know
Oh
if
God.
he's a blessing in disguise or what. I don't want to think about this. So,
Even Vivek Oberoi films had good soundtracks.
Satya, I
Oh,
completely
hum
ruined
dum
him.
sunore. It's okay. It's
So yeah,
just
even and you can't be a superstar just by doing a particular kind of movies. Like, theek hai, Sridevi and Shah Rukh had their own. I mean, I'm just gonna talk about
Yeah.
them because I don't really know about other superstars like Kamal Hassan or
Hmm.
Rajesh Khanna or whoever. So they had their own brand. They had their own, oh, Sridevi would be perfect for this role or whatever. But they ventured out of their comfort zone too.
Yeah.
Like Shah Rukh took a
They
big
did.
gamble when he did Swades, and
Yeah.
Sridevi's done a lot of women-centric films like Chandni or
Even Sadma is quite different.
yeah, definitely. And then even her comeback movie was so different, English to English.
Hearts forever for English.
Exactly. So these people, they didn't just do those Himmat Wala or kuch hota hai kind of stuff. They ventured out. They took risks, and that is why their fans are so emotionally connected to them, because they represent that that spirit ki, oh yeah, like theek hai, this person has a brand and they're problematic in their other aspects or whatever, but at least they're contributing something, like you said. But with these people like Salman or Akshay, they're just Akshay's career can be divided into certain phases, but that's not exactly a contribution. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad actor. He is a very good actor. My main problems with him are mostly on an ideological level, but he is not really pushing the he's not really pushing the standards further. He's content to play it as it is. So even though kabhi na flopped when it came out, Swades flopped when it came out, but these are such cult classic movies now. So these things happened, and one could argue that Aamir Khan has that kind of an approach, where he pushes the standards, but then he does so few movies. And personally, I'm not an Aamir Khan fan.
He does not seem like somebody who wants to embrace that stardom. He's always shied away from it. You never hear about him unless it's कि मैं कुछ promote कर रहा हूँ या फिर लोग मेरे Snapdeal promotions को हटाने की बात कर रहे हैं. It's like that's apart from that we don't know what's up.
Poor man.
And I think that maybe this thing, with the decline of stardom thing, is that why Ranbir Kapoor is so sad.
Because I saw his father go through that and his grandfather go through.
But he's seen stardom in his family, right? Like his family members are huge stars, but he never got to be because now we don't do stardom anymore. Is that why Ranbir Kapoor is so sad?
Probably. And then he has a brand too. He fulfills all the criteria.
Exactly, right? But he still couldn't be a star. I just figured out why Ranbir Kapoor is sad. I feel so accomplished now. Like मैंने कोई ऐसे life का secret जान लिया.
You have basically like come up with such great theories like Priyanka and Reddy. This is why I'm very honored to do this podcast, and
it's the feelings mutual, and you also have. You came up with this thing, the stardom thing, so come on, yaar. And now it's almost about to be an hour anyway.
Oh, I pity the person who's gonna listen to this.
Yeah, I think we started thinking we'll do a half an hour, but yeah, that never happens. But anyway, this was a lot of fun, and thank you for. Wait, did you join me or did I join you? No, you joined me.
I joined you.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. You don't need to know. You told us a lot of the things that we did need to know, and it was.
So did you? Yes.
Yes, and
let's come up with a new topic.
Yeah, and we'll come up with a name, maybe. Although unnamed podcast is quite good, actually. I like this air of secrecy, so we could do all of those things. And I'll probably beep out all the names that we said in this video. Not this video. What is this? Audio? Yeah, audio. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I will do all those things. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this.
Thank you.
Don't laugh.